Hey, welcome to my garage. This is Cigar Garage with Doc. And today I'm smoking a Quorum by Newman. And it's a bundle cigar. This is 6x60 Gordo. Natural wrapper, Nicaraguan filler. It is a Cuban sandwich, but it's one of the best made ones. It's one of the better selling bundle cigars. Yeah, I don't always smoke premium cigars, of course, and I'm sure you guys don't either. This is a very, very good cigar, the Quorum. I've had them before in Churchill, and I enjoyed them very much. They're a great cigar to grab when you're, mowing the lawn, hanging out, windy day. Sometime when a premium cigar is just not right, but you want to have a little cigar. It's great to give to friends. It's great to have on hand. It's that kind of cigar. And it's Quorum. They come in Connecticut, Maduro, and Natural. This is Natural shade. And as I say, it's you can see the way it burns, not bad. Usually has a pretty good draw. Got a nice flavor. Definitely a great everyday cigar. Grab it with a cup of coffee. It's great. Or a glass of whiskey, whatever. But anyway, so today I wanted to answer some questions about exorcisms. The movies say one thing and reality is another. A lot of people have seen the movie The Exorcist. The Exorcist was a true story about a boy, not a girl. And a lot of what happened in it did, in fact, occur. But I'm going to tell you about a case in Erling, Iowa. There was a case of exorcism, and her name was Anna Ecklin. And it's probably online. You could probably get it. In the story, it tells of a woman who was brought to a church or a convent in Erling, Iowa, went under possession. And one of the things that occurred, and you want to know what happens, let me backtrack this a little bit. People believe that you have one or two sessions and it's all over. Does that happen? Yeah. Sometimes it's one session. Sometimes you just say leave and the thing leaves. But there's other times when you're dealing with a very, very powerful spirit. And the woman or the man or the boy or the girl, whoever you're dealing with has done something. A Ouija board is something that allows the spirit to believe and to tell you that they have a right to this person because the person asked them in. Now, that becomes a little more difficult. When people are under possession, first of all, they're not always tied to a bed under possession like that. That's usually a later stage. It does happen, but in most cases it doesn't. They go in and out of possession, and sometimes it takes many, up to 80, 100 exorcisms. Yeah, that many. Sometimes a few, sometimes you never know how many it's going to take. There's a lot of battles that go on sometimes, and most people, like in the Bible, when Jesus said, "Who are you?" He said, "Legion, for we are many." That happens a lot. There's always lesser demons hanging on, and a lot of times they leave right away, but the most powerful don't, and you have to continue to do other exorcisms. So don't believe it's going to take one time, and it's over. A lot of times, in most cases, that's not true. So, back to the case, Anna Ecklin, Erling, Iowa. One of the most documented cases in history. When they first brought it to the convent, they brought her food to her. Well, being in a convent, being where the nuns lived, they blessed the food. When they gave it to her, all hell broke loose because the food was blessed. To shorten the story, some of the things that occurred during the exorcism, while they were saying the prayers, confronting the spirit. Buckets of excrement and like spaghetti literally appeared in the room. The smell that was making everybody vomit, everybody sick. The smell that would come out of her and the room was atrocious. It wasn't always from something that appeared, but these things actually appeared. They're called apports. A lot of that does happen during exorcisms. She went up on a wall. She crawled up a wall. And some exorcisms, they've literally had levitation to the ceilings. But in this case, this exorcism went on and on and on. She threatened the spirit, the demon, threatened the priest's life. The priest was out one night and wound up in a vicious accident, almost took their lives. Another thing that happened during this exorcism, the Archangel Michael in a green cloud appeared in the room. Of course, they have to pray into Michael. They have to say in the prayer of protection through the Archangel Michael. Appeared in the room. Michael helps, Michael guides, Michael protects. He's a powerful angel. Excuse me. And I say engine. Yeah, he's a powerful engine. That's all right. He's extremely powerful. But anyway, as an angel, he's very powerful, and he's usually the one that you'll ask for protection as you walk in. That he'll walk in with you, under the authority of Jesus Christ. And in this case, there were other cases like that. People were getting in accidents. People were getting sick, and the devil would foretell what would happen, and it would happen. Finally, they kept saying, "When will you leave? When will you leave? When will you leave?" And they'll say a word. He said, there'll be a word, and in that word, when that word is spoken, they'll leave. When doing an exorcism, there's two things you're trying to do. One is you're trying to find out who the spirit is and what's its name. And once you find that out, you take away any chance of it hiding. And it loses a lot of its power. At that point, you can turn things around very easily. If by chance you have Jesus in your heart and you're a true believer. Otherwise, it could be very dangerous. People have been attacked and attacked viciously during an exorcism. But in this case, the word was Dominus, the Father. And when it was spoken and it left, they said the shout was so loud that people who lived in the area of the church heard it. It echoed throughout the town. That's how loud it was. But go and check it out. Okay, I can't give you all the details. I don't have it right in front of me. I'm telling you the story so that you go look it up and read it for yourself. Anna Ecklin, Erling, Iowa, exorcism, and all kinds of stuff happened on it. Extremely documented, well-documented case. And I think you'll learn a lot from reading it. Annalise Michel in Germany, the possession, Audrey Rose, the movie, it's a true story. And a lot of that movie was exactly what happened during the exorcisms. I may go through that case a little more in the future, but I just wanted to let you know that mainly with exorcisms, it's not like the movies. Things do appear. The last one I did, there was rosary beads that were falling out of the ceiling, out of the sky, landing on the table, and they were red hot. When you touched them, they were hot, like they'd come off a stove. And they were appearing. Doors were slamming on both sides of the house. The walls were banging. Things like that does happen in exorcisms, especially when you're dealing with a very powerful demon and a very deep possession. But don't believe what the movies, everything the movies say, because it doesn't happen like in the movies where there's one confrontation and it's all over. That's not true. Does that happen? Yeah, sometimes. But usually when that happens, the person's really oppressed, not really possessed. There is a difference. There's stages of people start to become sad, and they become sick physically. They start having suicidal thoughts or bad thoughts, become very depressed. then they become oppressed. And once in that stage, there's a danger of suicide and stuff like that. Once you get past that, this full possession takes place, then a lot of this phenomena occurs. But a lot of times it takes, in the earlier stages, yeah, it could take one possession, it could take one exorcism or one prayer or casting out. But as the spirit gets a hold, tighter and tighter hold, that changes. So anyway, that's a little bit about it. But if you go and look up that case, you'll learn a little bit more about it and the truth of how exorcism works. There's a book out by Malachi Martin, Hostage to the Devil. Great book. He was the exorcist to the Vatican. He did exorcisms in the Vatican. And his book is fantastic. If you want to learn more about possession, Hostage to the Devil is a good book by Malachi Martin. Anyway, that's just a little bit. Enjoy your Quorum cigar. You can buy them in bundles. I can think a bundle costs about 60-something bucks. And it's definitely worth it. It's definitely worth the smoke. So, I'll see you again. And remember, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, help me out. I don't edit these things. You're welcome to come in my garage. We always have a talk. Until then, till I see you again, God bless. Take care. This is Doc.